fantastic. We even caught a nice piece of it today. We caught a little NASDAQ and some S&P, caught a little ride on the upside, and it looks like more will come our way. Trade is insane, right? I came out in front of this camera last week. I said, I'm going to show you a series of charts. Don't worry about it because we're going to go down last week, but they're going to prove that we're going to go up this week. And what happens Wednesday, we get the big up move, right? NASDAQ, S&P already started to go. Looks like Russell, looks like Dow and Tranny will follow it up. So, hey, fantastic there. So, I mentioned to you the news comes out in the charts first. In the video last night, I said, not only am I not worried about the debate or geopolitical events, I don't care about that. The news comes out first. The Omni says it's going to be bullish and you got to buy NASDAQ and S&P. What happened today? Exactly that. News comes out in the charts first, people. I've been proving it to you in these videos for 16 straight years. Now, even though we know news comes out in the charts, we never know what's going to happen that day, so we put our stops in. We put them in first, and we never trade without them. And with that in mind, also in last night's video, I asked my Omniacs to respond to a question. How come I have been asking you to put your stops in before you trade for 16 years in these videos? Why, and for longer than that, since the 80s, before there was YouTube. Why do I tell all of you to put your stops in first? And hundreds of answers came in, and I have to tell you, they were brilliant, they were right on the money, and I promise each and every one of you I will answer all of those after this video is filmed. Between tonight and tomorrow morning, I will answer every one of your responses in last night's video. In tonight's video, we've got some great stuff going on. I've got great charts to show you, but there is this. I'm going right to number 3 on the board. Omni camps are winding down, right? And I mentioned probably towards the end of this year, I'm no longer going to do Omni camp classes for many. I'm only going to host one-on-one Omni camps, one person at a time, make my life a little easier. On my 60th birthday past, time to start making life a little easier, right? One of the first ways to do that is tone down camps. So I mentioned that in my video, and what happens? One of the first things is I try to get out and they pull me back in. My Omniacs from the UK. Omni Camp is going to the UK. They said, Oscar, before you decide to do one-on-ones, get your ass to the UK, please, and do a camp. There's a few of us that need you. And I said, of course I will do that. Omni Camp in the UK coming your way. Omni Camp is 4 immersive days of working with me until you understand the Omni in its entirety. That's Oscar's market navigational indicator, the Omni. You will learn that in its entirety. There's no upsell. You know the exact Omni. When you're done with me, that will happen in the UK. It's between October and November. As soon as I get a few more of you to fill out your applications at OmniCamp or OmniBootCamp.com, as soon as you fill out a few more applications, I'll put an exact date and we'll get started. I am coming to the UK and I will do Omni camps there for my Omniacs in the UK. In other words, if you're anywhere in Europe, come to London where I am likely going to host this Omni camp. I hope to see you there. Make sure you fill out the application at OmniBootCamp.com. Don't miss your chance. I'm only going to Europe once before I tone down these camps. This is your moment. Make sure you fill out your OmniCamp application. What else is next? Okay, one other thing outside of trading and charts is that we have just broken 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, to some YouTubers, that might not sound like a lot, but I've got extremely loyal Omniacs who trade with me and come to my camps and stay in my trading room. So 20,000 is a lot when they're loyal, and thank you so much for that. Now, when we hit 25,000, I am going to pull a bunch of people off the list, and I'm going to send you all sorts of Omni Camp goods, t-shirts, you name it, stuff from the Omni. Help me get to 25,000. Please do that. Make sure you underneath this video, is that where it is under the video? Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Once we hit 25,000, I will get in touch with a bunch of you Omniacs and send you out some great stuff. Thank you so much for your patronage. We love the comments. We love all of you guys that not only do you join and subscribe, you show up in my Omni room, you hang out with me all day. We love it and keep it up. Thank you so much. Anything else, David, before we get involved in what's on the board? We're good. All right. So thank you. Remember, OmniCamp coming to the UK. You're only going to get one chance. Fill out those apps. I'll call you back. The news comes out in the charts first. Proven, as always. I'll show you the charts in a few moments. Crude oil and T-bonds are propelling this move. They are two of the many factors. Now, I don't want you to think that if you just watch crude and bonds, you know where the market's going to go. It's not how it works, kids. There's a lot more factors. But two of the big ones that are easy to spot are crude oil and bonds, because crude going down is a perfect shot in the arm. It is a stimulus for every country and every company on this planet. And so is interest rates. When bonds go up, interest rates go down. And I tell you right now, if you are listed on any market public in the world, you've got debt. When interest rates go down, that helps the bottom line of your company, just like that. I put a lot of that in the charts in the videos last week. Then I reiterated those same videos, put them in the videos this week to tell you to get ready. And it's exactly what happened, kids. The news always comes out in the charts first. We know that crude and T-bonds are helping propel this. And I've already told you about OmniCamp in the UK. It's your last chance to have a group. Please make sure you contact me at omnibootcamp.com. So traders, I've got some great charts I want to show you. I'm going to show them to you right now. I just want to remind you before we get into the charts to keep your emotions out of trading. How do we do that? Well, most of you who know me know what I'm going to say by now, right? You should know. If not, you'll learn it and you'll say it with me in the next video. Traders, how do we keep our emotions out? Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Stop, sir! In! Emotions are... rock and roll, traders. Now, let's go! Look at some charts. Traders, this is the NASDAQ daily bar chart. This is the exact same chart I put in front of the video in front of your eyes last night, long before the debate started. And I said, I've always professed the news comes out in the charts first. That includes geopolitical events, presidential debates, you name it. The Omni's offering buy signals in ES and NASDAQ, and we are taking them, right? So I sent that video. The debate happens. The markets go crazy. Here's where it was. And this is what happened. I mean, come on, baby. Big move up in the NASDAQ. What else do we have for you? And it looks like we're going to go further. In this chart, I showed you last night's video, the E-mini S&P, and I said, look, it is not so scary because for the whole year it's been holding this average. Only one time it got through, just once. And we're at the average and we should go back up. And that is what happened. Not so scary after all. The Omni's not so crazy, is it, people? I kept you in tune since last week telling you this was coming your way this week. E-mini S&P on the daily. Now, if you remember about 10, 12 days ago, I put this chart in front of you in 2 videos in a row. And I said, look, this is what we call an inverted head and shoulders formation. Once the right shoulder resolves itself, it should move higher. That's what they do. And I drew these 3 circles and I said, same thing. We're in the same pattern. Once the right shoulder resolves itself, we will head up here. Well, it looks like the right shoulder is starting to resolve itself, and this should be our exit out of that head and shoulders. Now, we are day traders. We take this one day at a time, and we never trade without stops in case the market reverses position and goes the other way. But we're expecting to be able to buy the dips for trading on Thursday, tomorrow, that's for sure. Now, what is propelling these markets higher? If you recall in that series of videos where I was preparing you for the market to go up this week, but that was last week when I was preparing you, this chart was there and I told you there's no need to panic. I will offer charts later this week that will counteract the stock market's recent drop. Right? And I told you that I would do that, and this is why I've shown you these charts for the last few days. And look, bonds are propelling higher. That means interest rates are absolutely dropping, and that will absolutely help the bottom line on any stock or company listed on the stock market. So you've got bonds moving up, interest rates moving down, and I showed you this chart in crude. And I told you not only are bonds helping the stock market, but crude dropping is helping, and Wall Street is watching this spot right here. I grew up on Wall Street. I know how they're trained. They're watching this spot right here, and that's what I told you, right? Here's where we were when I showed you that chart. This is what happened since. Look at that. That's a weekly, traders. You know how much movement that is? If you look at that, that went from 75 to 65, 10 full dollars in crude. Wall Street watches. I always tell you that. We know what they're watching. That helps propel the stock market higher. Then I've had an Omniac right before I started the video. Sun King, love you, Sun King. He said, Oscar, have you looked at copper? And I said, sure, I've looked at copper. Nice channel moving down, gets to the 200 ball moving average, creates this bear flag, and here's what I showed him. I said, you've got the bear flag, the top line of the bear flag, the 200 ball moving average, and the resistance, they all come in at the same spot. Don't buy it yet. You know what I mean? Not yet. If you're going to do anything, you sell here and you put a stop up here, you don't buy it at that spot. Sun King, I hope that helps you, brother. It might become a buy, not till you settle a few days above the resistance. For now, bear flag, meeting the 200 at resistance. I don't know. Sounds like you'd be selling into that to me. And then, of course, my crypto fans. Traders, this chart has made, I can't tell you how many great calls so far. It just keeps holding right there every time. And I put this before your eyes and said another hold coming with a question mark the day we hit. It did hold. 1, 2, 3. We've been up 4 days since then. Go crypto. Go stock market. Viva la Omni on these great calls. Traders, I will see you all at livewithoscar.com.